Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome once again to Hang On Supi, a show powered by Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. I'm your host, Caleb Supi Spinner, and today I'm joined by senior forward for the Ohio State men's hockey team, Austin Pooley, a guy I've gotten to know throughout this season, and a man I've learned has great taste in music. Welcome, Austin. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, Caleb. First of all, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. I'm really looking forward to this interview.
Yeah, and we were talking before we went on the show about the music groups. You saw the two albums that I have in my backdrop here. Obviously, you can see the AC/DC poster on your wall, and we both have good taste in music. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you kind of said before the interview started, I think the best music was made from the 60s to the 80s. I mean, a lot of these bands were writing their own songs and, playing them in the studios and just, that kind of music, music from that time period really resonates with me. And, I enjoy watching, I've really enjoyed watching some of the documentaries that have come out about some of these bands. We talked about Bohemian Rhapsody, The Dirt, Rocket Man. I mean, just some of these movies and how these bands started from nothing and progressed into what they became. I think that process and how that story is told is unbelievable. But to answer your question, I mean, 60s, 70s, 80s, that's where my heart is for music. So yeah.
And that's some of the best in my mind. Of course, then when you get to the 90s, and you can talk about that's when the best rap music came out, but that's a completely different discussion. We're going to stick to hockey as much as possible. We will have a little bit of music. I have something fun for us to do towards the middle of the show here, and then obviously we'll talk about the senior season and how you guys, the team and the seniors, the other 5 seniors with you, were able to take from these music groups and grow together as a squad over the years that you were here at Ohio State. I'm going to start off with this season or flashback to last season. Last season ended abruptly due to the outbreak of COVID-19, and this is something I've heard you talk about in the last press conference that I did with you during the season. How did you and your teammates find out about the canceling of the season, and what emotions went through your mind at that moment and in the days after when you began to process it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think it really started in January when, you were hearing about, COVID-19 going on over in Asia. And then, it was always in the back of your mind, like, oh, it keeps growing. It's getting more serious. And then I remember me and my roommate, Carson Meyer, we were sitting on our couch. I think it was a Tuesday night, just watching ESPN, and, it got released that the NBA was canceling their season that night. And I remember looking at Carson, I'm going, that's not good news for us, And then story be told, like a couple hours later, we got an email saying, hey, we're going to have a meeting tomorrow about, what's going to happen here in the next week. We were supposed to play Michigan that Sunday in the Big Ten semifinals nationwide. And so we went to the rink the next morning, and our assistant athletic director who oversees hockey, Sean Richards, just was, brutally honest with us, saying, hey, like, continuing the season doesn't look good, especially with the NBA canceling, and, nobody really knew anything about COVID-19. They didn't know like what it was, like how it affected people, like what symptoms it gave them. So it was all unknown. There was so much uncertainty. And, but he said, as of now, your season hasn't been canceled. So prepare like you're having a game. And we were supposed to have that Wednesday off anyway, so we weren't skating or anything. So we had a meal, and then we went home for like an hour, and then we got called back to the rink again. And that time when we got called back, we were told, hey, your season is over. Where we go from here, we're not sure. There's so much unknown. But I do remember sitting in that room and, looking around and saying, holy smokes, I can't believe this is happening. This is this is the last time this whole team will be in the same dressing room together. And that kind of hit me. And, it was sad. It was really, really sad because, that team had been through so much, and we've been through a lot of ups and downs, and we had such a close group. And I just felt like my roommate Carson was a senior, and the other 7 seniors, I think there was 8 of them. And those eight guys had given everything they had for the program, and we were having a great year. They were going to make it 4 NCAA tournaments in a row, which was the first time ever. They did get credit for the last one because we were going to be an automatic bid no matter what. But I felt so bad for those guys not being able to see their college careers through with how much potential we were showing. But I felt so bad for those guys and the relationships I had made with those guys, and everyone was going to go a different direction from here. And I just felt really bad for those 8 seniors because they added so much value to our team, not only that year but over their 4 years in different ways. And for them not to be able to see how it was going to play out was it was tough.
Tell me about some of those ups and downs. How did they make you guys stronger as a team and build a bond for you guys?
Yeah, I think the first thing is like all of them were such good people. They all cared about. They put the team first. They were willing to do whatever the team asked of them, whatever the coaches asked of them. And I mean, when things were going a little sour, like they were always able to just kind of stay even keel, and we were able to rally the group together. And we had so much success. We had won so many games and had so much success over. I was a junior, so we had 3 years together, and we had so much success going to a Frozen Four. Losing to Notre Dame in the Big Ten finals our first year. Winning the league our second year. Going to the NCAA tournaments. We'd won a lot of games, had some 20 plus win seasons. So we had been through it together. We'd experienced college together. But they were just such good people on and off the ice, and they were all good players that filled different needs and roles, and they were all very good at what they did, which is why they had such an impact.
Are you still close with those guys, those 8 seniors?
Yeah, I stay in constant touch with all of them. There's a few of them that I would consider. There's a few of them that'll be at my wedding.
I hope to get an invite to that too.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one. It'll be a fun one. I'll tell you that for free. I'm gonna have to get the best. I don't know, maybe the best '80s cover band I can find.
Or why not get the AC/DC going there?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, better get out there. Better get working. Yeah.
Well, I see the 2 guitars in the back. I mean, you could take a break after the first dance and go belt out some Back in Black or something.
You know what? If I have a couple drinks in me, I wouldn't put it past myself.
Over the offseason, you made the number change from number 14, which you had been through your career, to number 12 in honor of your father, Perry Pooley, who's a Buckeye legend in his own right. We'll get to talking about that later on. What prompted you to make this change now instead of earlier?
Yeah, the biggest thing was opportunity. So when I got here as a freshman, Miguel Fiddler, who was a senior who graduated during the COVID year, awesome guy, he had number 12. And he redshirted. He was a junior when I came as a freshman, but his junior year he redshirted, so he was going to be there for the first 3 years that I was there. And he wore number 12. And I offered him multiple times. I offered him different things to, hey, can I wear number 12? Whatever you want, I'll help you out. Or and he just never took it. So I didn't have a choice. He had seniority. And that number meant a lot to him too, so I totally get that. So I wore 14, but the biggest thing was just I wasn't able to wear it because someone else wore it. But when that number opened up, I jumped all over it.
Has your dad ever told you why he chose 12? Does it mean something to him?
I mean, yeah, I don't know how it started, but he wore 12 his whole career. Just like my uncle wore 22 his whole career. But yeah, it was just kind of his number. And, it's just, I don't know, it was just kind of a number that appealed to him, and he started wearing it. And, next thing you know, he wore it his whole career.
Sometimes the best reasons are the simplest. Just if a number feels right.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I'd have to pick his brain on that, but I just think that, he started wearing it, and, things kind of took off, and he just kind of stayed with what was working, and that was, kind of the end of it.
Your father, Perry, and your uncle, Paul, were 2 of the greatest players in Ohio State program history. They were both All-Americans, and they both still rank in the top 10 of scorers in program history. It's fair to say that they played some role in introducing you to hockey, but what exactly was their role in getting you on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, the Pooley family, like, the Pooley family is a hockey family. I mean, my grandparents, they're from Canada. Like, they're Exeter, small town, like 2 hours outside of Toronto. I mean, they watch every Maple Leafs game. I mean, they watch every game that, they got to every game that we played growing up. So, I mean, they just have such a passion for hockey. And, my dad and uncle obviously had great careers, and my uncle has coached at a lot of different, college teams, and has had an unbelievable coaching career. And, my cousin Scott plays for the Marlies now, played Division I at Holy Cross. So, we are a hockey family. When we get together, for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it is, like, it's hockey talk. We're talking a lot of hockey, and that's what we enjoy doing, talking about hockey, talking about different games, different things. But, we're a hockey family. And when I was young, my dad got me on the ice, pushing the chair around when I think I was like, 2.5, 3. I think it was just right out. It wasn't much later on than when I could walk. So, I mean, I've known hockey my whole life. It's just such a passion in our family, and it's a way that we all connect.
I guess the phrase ice in your veins is literal for the Pooley family.
I've never thought about it like that, but it is definitely literal in that sense.
Usually that's a basketball term, but I feel like in this sense, we can quite literally equate it to hockey.
Yeah, we're going to have to equate it to hockey, but I'll tell you right now, you don't want to see my jump shot. It's brutal.
Now, I just started thinking about this. Do you ever have pickup games between the family? A lot of families, you'll see one of the cliches is the Thanksgiving football game in the backyard. Is there ever street roller hockey with the Pooleys?
It's funny you brought that up. When we were younger, and my uncle is the associate head coach in Notre Dame, and he's been there for, I think, like 14 years. But when we were younger, if we had Christmas at their place in South Bend, Indiana, we would, on Christmas morning, we would always go to Compton Ice Arena and have like a pickup game with our family, and then the Slagerts, who both Slagerts are at Notre Dame now. There's a third one, I think, who's committed to Notre Dame too, but their dad's the assistant coach at Notre Dame. So we'd have a pickup game with them. And so yes, to answer your question, we have a pickup game, and it was so much fun. And the Compton Ice Arena is such a nice arena. And I just remember, growing up going, wow, this is high level Division I hockey, and just kind of dreaming about playing in arenas like that. And here we are.
Sounds like a fantastic way to burn off those extra pounds courtesy of the turkey.
Oh yeah. There wasn't much turkey I was eating either. I was going right to the sweets.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Cranberry sauce or pumpkin pie. What was your poison?
Apple pie with some vanilla ice cream was,
Okay.
pretty
Okay.
elite. And my grandma, like, she's an unbelievable, like, she's a great cook. Just like just about everybody's grandma, right? Like, they're all good.
Yeah.
They're all like unbelievable cooks, but my grandma is an unbelievable cook. And like, she makes the best, like pastries and desserts, and half of them, I don't even know what they're called, but I'll tell you what, like, they get in front of me, like, I'm eating as many as I can until I can't stand up anymore.
I'm guessing vanilla ice cream with the apple pie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Little sprinkle of cinnamon on top too, if we're really going to get detailed with it. But no,
well, I'm going to move on here, because you're making my stomach growl here. Was there ever a time where you felt pressured to live up to the massive legacy of the Pooleys? And if so, how did you learn to make your own legacy and stand out as your own player at Ohio State?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's it's something that I obviously thought about growing up, obviously hearing about, how good my dad and my uncle were, and how high level they were, and such good scorers. And, for me, and, my dad always kind of reiterated, is like, be who you are and be really good at it. I kind of took that to heart. And, for me, it was, my dream was to play at Ohio State, right? My dream wasn't to, beat them in their scoring record or something like that. It was to play at Ohio State, win a lot of games, win as many championships as possible, get an unbelievable education, meet as many people as possible. And I honestly, those were the objectives. But for me, I mean, obviously, like, I haven't scored like they have, or not nowhere even close. I mean, you could give me probably another 15 years and I won't even get close to that, but that's fine. For me, it's all about, what are your, like, in life, just in life in general, like, what are you good at? Like what are your core competencies? Like, what are the 3 things that you're going to do every day that make you who you are? And are going to, like, make you become a better person and a better player or whatever you want to be. But just for me, like, understanding those things, understanding how I add value to this team and to, my family and different things, and like what I really want to focus on and who I am as a person, just focusing on those things have really helped me, just kind of, carve out my own way and make me into the person that I've become today. And my family has, had my back the whole way. And I've had the most supportive parents and brother that anyone could have. And I'm just so grateful for them. And they've really had my back and supported me in anything I've done.
Do you think, maybe unconsciously, do you ever think that going to Ohio State, there was a motivation to go to the same place as your uncle and your dad and be your own player? Do you ever think that motivated you to go to Ohio State at all?
To be honest, when I was younger, it wasn't really like about like, oh, what type of player am I going to be? Like, how am I going to add value? Like, what are my strengths going to be? It was more about, like, I remember going to the games, like, when I was younger and watching Ohio State play and just being like, you're sitting around and there's 10,000 people there. And you're just like, this is unbelievable. Like, this is truly amazing. I was like, it would be unbelievable to play at this school. And obviously with the unique situation of both my dad and uncle playing there, and my mom went to school here. She was in Delta Gamma, and they both, graduated with business degrees. And just to be like, wow, to be able to play at this program and go to this school and have my family so close to home, like, that would just be unbelievable. So that was just kind of where, that's just kind of the thought process I had. And that was kind of the dream instilled in me from a young age.
I can already see the title of your autobiography, Austin Pooley, Fan Turned Forward. Perfect title for it. It describes exactly what you just told me there. The little boy who grew up sitting in the stands and watching Ohio State hockey, and that's what I'm going to be one day.
Yeah, I'll have to get on that, and I'll send you the rough draft here when I get it done in about 10 years. But
I'll be happy to edit every page for you.
Yeah. I might have to start taking some notes. You're giving me so many good ideas already. I think we're 7 minutes into the interview, and I've got 2 or 3 good ideas already.
Well, we have this on recording, so I'll obviously you'll be able to go back and rewatch it as many times as you want to make sure you never forget an idea.
Yeah, there we go.
How is the guidance and the direction from your uncle and your dad grown you as a hockey player?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes back to, like, we were just always talking hockey, or when we were, when I was around my uncle and my dad, like, it was always hockey, and we were just talking about different things. And the biggest thing was just, be who you are, like, like, figure out, like, what your game's going to be, what you're going to be good at, because, it's all about becoming the best player you can be within yourself. And then, working on your weaknesses and growing your strengths, developing your leadership skills and your social skills and stuff like that. And just, it was all about, like, maximizing your potential and becoming the best person within yourself. So those were just kind of the things I really, tried to focus on growing up, and tried to emulate throughout my, my childhood and my teens. And then even to this day, I'm always trying to focus on how I can get better within myself.
Speaking of the perfection, the pursuit of becoming the best, we're going to take a little bit of a break here and talk about a segment that I call Musical Madness. So we're recording this. This is going up on Thursday. We're recording this on Wednesday, the last day of March. So I figured I'd put a March Madness twist on something that I know you and I are both fans of, and that's music. The last time that I talked with you, I saw the AC/DC poster in your room, And on your bio on the Ohio State website under the hockey roster, it says your favorite singer is Kenny Chesney, the country guy. So I went on Google. I found the top 4 most popular songs of each group, and I seeded them in an 8-team bracket. 8 teams, 3 rounds to determine a winner. We're going to go through these and see which is your favorite song of these. And you had mentioned before the theme. Theme can be whatever you want. If you like one better because you work out to it, and then you like another because it's a song you like to play on guitar, does not have to be a common theme here. The only deciding factor is your opinion on it.
Let's do it.
All right. So I'll put this up so the audience can see it. The first seeding I have, The Good Stuff or Back in Black.
Yeah, I got to go Back in Black on that one. I mean, that's just such an iconic AC/DC song. And I mean, just such a well-known riff. So yeah, I got to go Back in Black there.
Can I assume that's on your workout playlist?
That one's been on the workout playlist since I was 12.
That was an easy assumption for me there. American Kids or Shoot to Thrill?
That's a tough one. Those are both 1 seeds. I don't know how many 1 seeds play each other the first round, but I got to go American Kids, man. That song in the summer, I don't know if you can beat it. Windows down, outside, 85 and sunny. I mean, that one's full blast every time that one comes on the radio.
I had to seed these 1 seeds together because I don't think any of these are 16s. So there wasn't a 16 seed I could pair the 1 with. So these are all going to be tough matchups.
Yeah, they are.
I Go Back or Thunderstruck?
I mean, that's another tough one, but I got to go Thunderstruck for the same reason I went Back in Black. I mean, what an iconic riff. And I mean, that song is just pure energy. And I mean, every time that song comes on, I mean, you're cranking that thing full blast.
Another resident of the Pooley workout playlist for sure. The Good Stuff or Highway to Hell?
I'm going to go The Good Stuff there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to go The Good Stuff there.
I don't know if you're following along, but we have a dead split for Chesney AC/DC songs here.
At least I'm consistent, eh?
That is true. That is true. You were very consistent.
I like them both. I like them both a lot, I guess, you know.
And by no means is you picking one over the other saying the one you didn't pick is a bad song. These are all absolute bops. These are absolute bops.
Oh, for sure.
All right, the what is this? The semifinal round. Back in Black or American Kids? This is where it gets really tough.
Yeah, it does. You know, it really, really does. I mean, they're both just such great songs, but I mean, you know, I see the sun right now through my window, and I got to go American Kids here, especially with, you know, the springtime coming around and the summer. I mean, I got to go American Kids. I mean, that song's unbelievable. That one is
fun. That's a good song. Thunderstruck or The Good Stuff?
You know, I got to go Thunderstruck. I mean, that's just a banger, man.
So once again, now in our championship round here, we have American Kids and Thunderstruck. Who's your winner here?
You know, I just saw the sun again. I got to go American Kids. I got to go American Kids. If you haven't seen the music video, Kayla, I'd recommend going and looking it up. I'll tell you right, I love watching a good music video. American Kids is it's just such a good feel good song, and I got to go American Kids.
I don't know if we can say that these were your picks or the Suns now that I look back at it.
I'm going to go C, all the above.
Now we found out that American Kids is your all-time song here. That's our winner. Is it fair to say, though, I'm under the impression that there is one song that will transcend themes, transcends moods, transcends decades. It is that universal of a song. Bohemian Rhapsody is what I would say the best song overall, end of story, all time period.
Couldn't agree more with you, Caleb. I mean, that song is it's universal, like you said. And I mean, we were just talking about Bohemian Rhapsody, about I just told you, I watched the movie again on Friday night, and I'd probably seen the movie 7 or 8 times. And I mean, I learned something new every time, but it was just unbelievable how like that song at that time was so out of the box. It was like 7 minutes. Like all the songs are usually 2.5, 3 minutes for the radio. And I just remember like them saying like, yeah, this song will never like make it. This song will never be on the radio. Like, and it's just such a different, obviously it was just such a different style of song during that era. And they're like, this is just ridiculous. Like there's no way this makes it. And then it turned into what it was. So just like watching how that song progressed and became what it was, when literally everyone was like, or majority of people were like, this ain't going to work. And Freddie Mercury was like, yeah, it's going to work. Just watch this song take off. And here we are still talking about it, but unbelievable song, universal. You could play that song in any setting and it would resonate.
In our discussion before the show, we were talking about, how much you love to watch movies, especially the ones related to rock. I wonder if you caught the little reference there when Ray Foster, the guy who's the record exec who says it will never, it'll never succeed, is played by Michael Myers, who was in Wayne's World, where they were bopping to that song in a car.
I'm going to have to write that fact down because I didn't know that either. But that's pretty cool.
I'll send you a link to the scene because it's very the way that they zoom in on his face when he says, no, but this is not a song that people will sit in their car and bang their heads to. I got a chuckle out of it just thinking back to that scene where he quite literally is banging his head to Bohemian Rhapsody in a car.
Yeah, I think that movie just came full circle for me there. And like, I think I completely understand it now, but that's unbelievable. I didn't know that. I do remember that line from the movie. Yeah, that's unbelievable. I had no idea.
Add that to the list of things you'll have to rewatch this interview for.
Yeah, exactly. We're on 4 things, I think.
Getting back on topic for hockey here, this season looked drastically different than those before it, with the lack of fans, the shortened off and preseasons, and the limited schedule. All of it was a curveball thrown at you guys. How did you and your teammates adjust to these new rules and procedures that you guys needed to have a season?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is even after we talked about like our season got canceled the year prior, and we'd have Zoom calls and stuff, but we had no idea what was going on. For 3 months there, I was literally working out out of my basement, with a couple of dumbbells and a Peloton bike. That was literally it. But we didn't know. There was talks we weren't going to have a season. There was talks. There was just so much speculation. We really didn't know. And then as we finally got started to see some light at the end of the tunnel, and we were more confident that we were going to have a season. But yeah, it was different. We went through so much, and there were some guys that I didn't, due to like different circumstances, I didn't meet on my team until in person until middle of September, which is, that's crazy. Usually how it goes is that May, all the new guys come in and we work all together, and then June and July and the first part of August, guys go home and do their thing and work out and skate there, and then we bring everybody back, and it's like full blown training camp through second half of August and September, and then beginning of October until leading up to our games. But we didn't have any of that. There were some guys, the only time I talked to them is through phone calls or text messages, just checking up on them. So there were some guys I didn't meet for a long time, and it was only a couple of weeks before our first games against Minnesota when we were all on the ice together. So that part of it was really different, especially we had a lot of younger guys coming, and we had we had some transfers and some freshmen. So going through that, that definitely hurt us. That hurt big time. And then, just everything. We got COVID tested 6 days a week. Some trips we'd go on the road, and literally we would pick our meals up at the hotel. They were great meals, really, really well done, but we'd have to take them to our room and eat in our room. And we'd just sit in our room the whole trip. It was you and your roommate in the room, and that was it. It was so different. And usually we're going out to real night, we get treated so well. We're going out to nice dinners and nice, steak dinners, and we're all talking, and, it was just so much, there was just so many variables that were just, different than the year before. We were at the beginning of the year, we were getting dressed in 3 different locker rooms just to, just to be safe and make, obey COVID protocols. And, it was a unique year for sure. And then just obviously just the Big Ten schedule, with no out of conference games and no fans. And it was a different animal for sure.
So first, I will say it sounds like with the Peloton and the bike and the dumbbells, that just as it was for millions of Americans, for you, LA fitness turned into LR, or living room fitness. The makeshift gym in the living room or in the kitchen or wherever it was. But, in that same regard, with that and how you and your teammates went around bonding with, like you said, the new transfers, the new freshmen, watching you guys, I didn't even think that chemistry would be an issue going into the offseason, because you guys gelled so well on the ice, in my view, especially, Travis Traylor, one of the freshmen coming in, excelled this season. So all of that you guys did, even though the curveball was thrown at you guys and you didn't get the typical offseason, the typical preseason to prepare for this year, it seems like what you guys did worked.
Yeah, just answering just talking about what you were saying about the Peloton bike. I don't know if you've ever been on one, but they are unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, they were fun to do. Like I would do, sometimes I'd do two of them a day. It was just, the music's bumping, they got great instructors, but I love the Peloton. But to answer your second question, it was tough, but by the end of the, like you said, Travis had a great year. He's an awesome kid, loves the game. We got nothing but good things to say about him, and honestly, all the other guys. But just, the reason I said, it took a while for us to, kind of, hey, this is, how things are done. Like all these kids are coming from juniors, and you bring them into college, and it's a little bit of a jump. And I mean, everything's different. Really, everything's different. Like in juniors, you're waking up at 10 o'clock and you're going to the rink and you're practicing, and then you have a meal, and then you go home and play video games. Well, now you're in college, and you're working out, you're skating, and then you got 3 hours of lecture, and it's online. So it was like, that was a different part of it too. Like, hey, all of our classes were online. Like sometimes I didn't even feel like we were in college, to be honest with you, just because, everything was on Zoom. Like, it was funny. I remember we used to complain about I just skated and I just worked out, and now I got to go walk across the oval for a 12:45, class for my math 11:30 class. I really don't want to go. And now it's like the things I would do to be able to go back, walk across the oval in early September, people throwing the Frisbees and dogs running everywhere, and, people setting up the hammocks or whatnot. Like the things I would do to have one more of those, have another one of those days, But they got up to speed, and they're all the freshmen and the transfers are unbelievable people, and they're all good players, and they're all going to add a ton of value to the program. I guess the way we did is, we just brought them in, and, we were learning on the fly. Just, with everything going on, and everything was changing on a daily basis. But looking back on it, I was pleased with how things went with those guys.
I enjoy walking across the oval and then crossing 18th to get to the journalism building, for sure. But I never thought you won't have another one of those. Like this was my first year. I'll have many more of those, but for you, that was it. Is all online.
Yeah. I'm. It could be. I'm coming back for get my master's in either finance or accounting, so it could be for sure. I mean, walk into a class probably, because all my classes will be at Fisher. But right. Man. I mean, take advantage of every opportunity you get in whatever realm of your life it is, because, man, I'll tell you what, it does go fast, and I know you hear it all the time, but enjoy every day because it does go fast. And these are some of the best years of your life. And, honestly, just seize every day, man.
Speaking of, having the last of something or the final something, we're going to fast forward now from the preseason to the end of the regular season and your senior night ceremony. The limited attendance guidelines at the Schottenstein Center and, across the state of Ohio prevented you from playing your final home game in front of a packed crowd. However, I personally, since I was there, can testify that the energy of that night was still present, even with the smaller number of spectators. Did you feel having the smaller amount of people in attendance made the ceremony more intimate and more special?
I would say no. And the reason I say no is usually the parents are able to come on the ice with you, and they set up a carpet and all the parents and your siblings can come on the ice and you give them all a hug. And so for that reason, I would say no, but they did it. It was such a nice gesture, and, they did such a great job with it, making it what it could be based on all the situation we were in. But to be able to, go out there and get recognized and, be able to see all my teammates and my coaches and, kind of have that moment, it was very unique. And they did an unbelievable job with the circumstances that we were in.
I noticed you, Tommy, Eugene, Evan, you guys were all, as you were watching that career highlight video on the Jumbotron, you were all kind of sharing glances at each other. What was going through your heads as you watched your career highlights and realized that this would be the last time you played on your home ice?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you kind of when you're in those moments and something great's coming to an end, you just kind of think back about the different experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly that you had during that time. And I mean, we were so fortunate. I mean, we had really good teams, and we, some of the people that I met at this university, not only in hockey, but, in other students and faculty and teachers, I'll have those relationships the rest of my life. And at that time, we all felt that we were so blessed to be a part of that, of those 4 years, at that university. So we were just kind of, saying wow, it's coming to an end, but we were able to be a part of something really special, not only in the Ohio State hockey program, but also in the university too.
I think one of the moments of this season that will always, stick with me, as I'm sure it was even more to a degree for you guys, but at the end of the game against Michigan at Compton, when Tommy took a little while to leave the ice, and he was visibly emotional, as I'm sure, you guys, everybody was, especially the seniors. But did you talk to him at all? Did you have that moment where it was harder to step off the ice? How did you feel when it was truly, the last time?
Yeah, it was just, it was tough. I mean, you think about, I gave all my teammates came up and gave me a hug and, said some really nice things. And actually the coach, Mel Pearson, the coach of our team, came up and, said congrats on a great career. He just said how much he respected me. That meant a lot, especially coming from a rival like that. And, it was just, and it was unique that I was in Compton too. A place that I knew really well and had been in a lot. And, it was sad. Yeah, exactly. Right. And it was, it was sad. And, for Napes, I mean, he had such an unbelievable career here, and he had just done so many good things for the program, and he's one of my best friends. And, to see him have that moment, it was sad. And, he knew that it was coming to an end, and it wasn't the ending that we wanted. But yeah, I could definitely see that he was emotional, and we did have a moment. We actually sat by each other, I think the whole ride back, just talking and, kind of reliving some of those stories that we had from the 4 years, and just talking and enjoying each other. Cause things changed quickly, and, we knew that was, that change was coming. And so we just tried to enjoy each other for those last 3 hours on the way home there, or 4 hours.
this entire interview, you've been talking about the things that you're going to take away from this, whether it's creative titles or movie scenes that I bring up. One of the things I will take away is the nickname Napes for Tommy Napier. I've never heard that before, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I am surprised you haven't heard it, but yeah, Napes, that's what we call him. I don't know. From day one, I remember saying, "Hey, Napes, what's up, man?" And from that day on, we lived together in the dorm our first years too. So it was like from day one, it was Napes, and I don't think I've ever called him anything other than Napes in all 4 of my years that I've known him.
What dorm were you guys in your first year?
Yeah, so we were in Rainey Hall, room 629.
Rainey, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was a great spot. It was an awesome spot. It was a sophomore dorm.
That's North Campus, right?
And no, it was. It's right on the corner of Lane and High. So awesome location.
Oh yeah.
They're brand new.
Yeah.
They're brand new. So we met a lot of good people. Actually, I still see a lot of students. I still stay in touch with some of the students that I live there with, and there's a lot of good people in that dorm. And it was such a unique experience. And how many times you get to live in a dorm with 5 to 700 other kids, in the same boat as you. So the dorms were great. And we had a great time.
Yeah. I'm a resident of Park Stradley on South, but I'm hoping next year I'll find myself in a North, possibly Rainey House. Those are really nice.
Yeah, you should. Because we were freshmen, but freshman has an asterisk next to it for hockey because I was 21. I think Napes was 19 or 20 because a lot of the freshmen come in older because you can play juniors till you're 21. So, I was a freshman, but I was the oldest guy in the dorm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, right. It was a sophomore dorm. So, hey, I don't know. I'll send him an email. I don't know if I have any pull, but I'll shoot my shot and say, hey, you got to give Caleb room 629.
Oh, yeah.
It had the extended room. It had like an extra 6 feet. So it was
really?
Unbelievable. Oh yeah, we got lucky. The room we got was, I think there was only 2 of them on each floor, and we got an extra 6 feet. And I'll tell you what, we utilized it. We really utilized it. Yeah.
Rainey House 629. I will be looking for that one.
They might have retired it though. I'm not sure. I don't know if you're able to live there anymore. They might have retired it.
Well, given your legacy here, I would assume that they would retire it. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they probably turned it into like a closet.
Yeah. Oh. It's just a shrine with your old jerseys in it, your broken sticks. Man. It's got all that stuff in it. I'm certain.
Oh, yeah, right.
They use that extra 6 feet to put a net in there. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The last thing I'll leave you with here is talking about the next steps for you. You mentioned possibly, a graduate degree. Have you decided whether you'll pursue hockey in the future at all, whatever form that takes?
Yeah. So actually due to the nature of the season and a lot of teams didn't get to, play their games, and a lot of teams don't get to play in the Big Ten conference, and Big Ten did an unbelievable job, letting us get most of our games in and supporting us the whole way. But due to the year, they gave extra eligibility to all the seniors get an extra year, like a COVID year. So my plan is to come back and either do a master's in finance or master's in accounting next year. And those are both 1-year programs. So to be able to, take advantage of that and, play for 1 more year will be special.
So I will see you on the ice in a Buckeye uniform next season. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that is what you're hearing. Yep.
I was excited. I just got into hockey when I came here.
Yeah.
My roommate's a hockey crazed maniac, but I just started watching. I'm like, no, I just got into you're one of my favorite players on the team. And I just got into it. I'm like, and then you're gone. I'm like, no, good. I get to see you.
Yeah, we go over here. There'll be 10,000 in there next year, hopefully.
Yes, let's hope so. I hope we still get the good spot in the concourse. When you guys played the stint for Arizona State, I was probably 2 levels behind Brady when he was mending the net, or when he was tending the net for the Devils, and Napes and Moise when they were there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a great. That's a great spot. I'm sure they'll get a VIP access next year.
I'm pretty sure I watched you check a guy right in front of me. I'm pretty certain.
I mean, there's a good chance of that.
Austin, it's been fantastic talking with you, man. I appreciate you coming on here, and I'm glad to meet another music aficionado.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Caleb, thanks for having me. You're an unreal dude, and thanks for having me on. This was a blast.
Now, I will hold you to this. I'll make you promise me right here. The next time that I contact you or that I see you, you play me something on the guitar.
You got yourself a deal.
I'm a member of the men's glee club here, so we'll put your guitar skills and my voice together. We'll get something going. We'll take advantage of the mics. We'll get it going.
What do you sing?
I'm tenor 1, so I'm the highest of the high.
Okay. We could
Taking
get like
after Freddie Mercury here.
Yeah, we could get like a "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees going or something like that.
Oh yeah,
you go that high.
You're gonna
That's
make
pretty
me pull
high.
out all the vocals there.
Oh yeah,
I can do it. I can do it.
Yeah, I bet you can. Yeah, well, I'll have to come up with a list of songs that I can learn that go well with your voice.
Alrighty, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, thanks, Kale. Appreciate the time, man.
Make sure you're staying up to date with Hang On Supi. Follow the show on Instagram at Hang On Supi. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. The podcast version of the episode goes out on Wednesday, and the video form releases on Instagram, TV, and YouTube every Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern. There's always something to keep you involved and entertained with Hang On Supi. Thanks once again to Austin Pooley for coming on the show. I'll see you guys next Wednesday, but for now, that's the show. I'm out of here.